Most people think oral sex is safe because it doesn't involve traditional intercourse. But what if I told you that something so common could quietly expose you to infections, cancers, and lifelong health problems without you even realizing it? Today, we're breaking the silence and uncovering the medical facts about oral sex that every American adult should know. Hey there! Welcome back to the channel where we bring you clear, evidence-based information about the health topics that directly impact your life. If you're new here, consider subscribing because the things we share could truly protect you and your loved ones. Now, let's get straight into today's topic, oral sex. It's a very common practice, especially in the United States. Yet, the risks tied to it are often swept under the rug. This video isn't about judging anyone's choices or shaming sexual freedom. It's about equipping you with knowledge, real medical facts, so you can make safer, healthier, and more informed decisions about your intimate life. Oral sex refers to any sexual activity that involves mouth-to-genital or mouth-to-anal contact between partners. Some people see it as a safer alternative to intercourse. Others assume it's completely harmless because there's no penetration in the traditional sense. But the truth is, oral sex carries its own risks, and these risks are often misunderstood or underestimated. As Americans, we live in a culture that celebrates sexual expression, but doesn't always provide the full picture when it comes to health education. Sex ed in schools often glosses over oral sex, and public health campaigns rarely address it. That leaves millions of adults with gaps in knowledge, gaps that could affect their long-term well-being. So, let's break down the real medical risks supported by science and research. 1. Human papillomavirus, HPV. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the US, and it can spread through oral contact just as easily as through vaginal or anal sex. Oral HPV can infect the throat, tonsils, and tongue. Here's the scary part. Oral HPV is directly linked to throat cancers in both men and women. The American Cancer Society reports that tens of thousands of cases of oropharyngeal cancer every year in the United States are connected to HPV. For women, HPV is also a well-known cause of cervical cancer. What makes it more dangerous? HPV often has no symptoms. You can be carrying and transmitting it without realizing it. 2. HIV transmission. Most people associate HIV with blood or vaginal or anal intercourse, but it can be transmitted through oral sex. While the risk is lower compared to other methods, it's not zero. If someone has bleeding gums, mouth sores, or tiny cuts, the virus has a pathway. The CDC has confirmed documented cases of oral HIV transmission in the US. This is especially important to understand in relationships where one partner may not even know their HIV status. 3. Gonorrhea and chlamydia. Both of these bacterial infections are rising sharply across major American cities. Oral sex can transmit them to the throat where they might not cause obvious symptoms at first. Throat gonorrhea, for example, can be completely silent yet still contagious. That means someone can unknowingly pass it to multiple partners, fueling the spread without realizing. Untreated, these infections can create long-term reproductive health issues and, in rare cases, systemic complications. 4. Hepatitis A, B, and C. Hepatitis viruses primarily affect the liver, but oral sex, especially mouth-to-anal contact, can spread them too. Hepatitis B and C in particular can lead to chronic liver disease, cirrhosis, or even liver cancer. Hepatitis A, though less deadly, can still cause severe illness. Many Americans assume hepatitis is only connected to drug use or contaminated needles. But sexual activity, including oral sex, is also a route of transmission. 5. Parasitic and bacterial infections. Beyond viruses, oral sex can also expose people to pubic lice, syphilis, herpes, and bacterial infections like E. coli when contact involves the anal area. While pubic lice may sound minor compared to cancer or HIV, they still cause discomfort, itching, and require treatment. Here's a common misconception. If I brush my teeth, rinse with mouthwash, or shower before oral sex, I'll be fine. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Viruses like HPV and HIV can't simply be washed away. Bacteria and viruses don't disappear with good hygiene alone. This is why awareness and preventative measures are so important. Now, let's talk about something people don't often connect with oral sex, the emotional side. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Studies have found that relationships heavily focused on casual or purely physical intimacy often struggle with emotional closeness. In America, where loneliness is already a widespread issue, this can worsen feelings of disconnection. Choosing thoughtful intimacy where safety, trust, and emotional connection are prioritized can actually strengthen relationships in the long run. Let me share two real-life cases that highlight these risks. Sarah from Texas contracted HPV through oral sex. At first, she didn't know anything was wrong. Later, her pap smear showed cervical abnormalities requiring medical procedures to prevent cancer progression. That one intimate choice changed her health journey forever. Michael from California thought oral sex was completely risk-free. He ended up with gonorrhea in his throat, unknowingly passed it to his long-term girlfriend, and it nearly ended their relationship. The betrayal wasn't intentional, but the lack of awareness caused real damage. These aren't scare tactics. They're examples of real consequences that happen to real Americans every single day. So, what can you do to protect yourself and your partner without giving up intimacy altogether? Here are practical steps. Use protection. Dental dams and condoms during oral sex may not feel common, but they are effective in lowering risk. Get vaccinated. The HPV vaccine is available for men and women up to age 45. It can dramatically reduce the chances of HPV-related cancers. Regular health screenings, STD, STI tests, PAP smears, and throat swabs can detect issues early before they escalate. Open communication. Honest conversations with partners about health history and testing can prevent surprises later. Avoid oral sex when sick or with open cuts. Small wounds can create easy pathways for infections. Remember, knowledge doesn't mean giving up intimacy. It means making choices that protect your long-term well-being. At the end of the day, your health is your most valuable asset. The short-term pleasure of risky intimacy should never outweigh your long-term well-being. Americans already face enough health challenges: cancer, obesity, for disease. We don't need to add preventable infections to that list. Oral sex isn't safe by default. It's a personal choice that comes with very real consequences. By staying informed, getting tested, and communicating openly with your partner, you can enjoy intimacy without putting your health or your partner's health on the line. If this video gave you new insights, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What health questions do you wish more people talked about openly? And don't forget, if you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss future updates. We tackle the tough health conversations that mainstream media often avoids because you deserve the truth. Take care of yourself. Take care of your relationships. And I'll see you in the next video where we continue exploring the intimate health topics that matter most to you and your